How are you feeling? Everyone else is good?
I'm good. Chilling.
We can move to the next topic. So, shout out again to Shea Coulee. Brittney Griner. All right. So it came out yesterday. 9.5 years in prison for cannabis oil and hashish. Russian judge found her guilty. Well, she pled guilty, and that's what the Russian judge gave her. And now, before I came here to kick it with you all for the pod, I heard that there is a possibility that America is going to do a prisoner swap with the Russian arms dealer that we've had in our possession for the last...
Anymore.
Oh, boy. You done turned up. You bugging out. I can't hear myself.
Nope, not anymore.
Now we back. Yeah, Josh is bugging out. We've had him in custody for several years, and Russia, Putin, he wants his arms dealer back. This guy is linked to like over 24 murders, and he is not a good person. And then there's another motherfucker that's locked up in the U.S. that they also want in exchange for Brittney Griner's immediate release. So how are we feeling about, one, the sentencing, and two, should the U.S. trade these evil, murderous men to get her back into the States? We're going to go kind of clockwise to our resident military guy. How you feeling about this, sir?
I don't agree with prisoner swaps. I just feel like it shows a sign of weakness.
You feel like it shows a sign of weakness?
Yeah.
Spoken like a true military guy.
I mean, she fucked up, but...
She did. 9 years, though, for weed oil and high and
But
hash.
that's the thing, too. You got to think that's a different country. Like, it's not like here where we... Like, local governments can set their own laws when it comes to marijuana use and...
Of course.
Stuff. Is it excessive, the sentencing? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but to trade her for a Russian arms dealer that's known as the Merchant of Death, that's just, it's a no-go for me.
It's a no-go for you?
I don't think we should do that.
All right.
I mean,
I agree with you, kinda.
No, I know.
Everybody's like, you want more? Go ahead.
That's just
Neph,
me, though.
what is your reaction?
It was a little bit of weed, y'all. It was not like she was bringing all this weed.
No.
It was just a little bit of oil in a cartridge that she brought and like she got caught with. She did
Weed
not,
oil too, and she had hash.
Yeah, so it was not like she was pushing weight.
No.
And wait, you had a chance to speak. Let me finish my piece. So it was just like, y'all, if this was LeBron James, if this was anybody, if this was a Proud Boy nigga, this would send...
Not a Proud Boy and a nigga.
Yeah, that part. This would be a story that sends 1,000 ships. She would be the Helen of Troy. You would see us going to war for. But because she's a black lesbian woman... Lock her up. They ain't gonna do shit. And that's just the reality of it. We live in a misogynistic world that hates black women, and let alone a black lesbian woman. And you have all this like, oh, we're speaking to them. I'm making this speak. Yeah, y'all ain't making real moves. Like, I'm not saying this whole prisoner swap. Like, I don't have a bark in that dog fight or a quarter in that or a nickel in that quarter. Like, that don't got nothing to do with me, so I don't understand that piece. But my whole thing is her as an individual. I can see why everything's going very slowly. And this overreaction over a little bit of weed. So that's my piece.
Everyone goes, and then we'll have a chance for rebuttal. Go ahead, Bree.
First of all, I agree. A small amount of marijuana. They act like she was pushing peas.
Get out of here.
And Trump said that she was pushing a lot of weed, just to add that interjection. Like,
45 says a lot of dumb shit.
First of all,
he was like, when you bring a lot of weed, like, just for those Republican listeners, just so we be very clear, this is what the narrative that Fox News is pushing, that it was this astronomical amount of weed.
Name one person weed has killed.
No one. As far as I know.
Just checking. In addition to that, I want to say, I think that one of the things that this has showcased is that we do not have the same respect for female athletes as we do for male athletes in our society. Because the action would have been swift had it been one of the NBA players that had played internationally and in the off season. It would have been a much more swift reaction. In addition to that, I think that, you know, Russia being in the position that it's in, with everything happening, they're trying to flex. They're trying to see if who they can pull into what and what they can do. 9.5 years for a little bit of weed.
And hash.
Weed.
And hash.
Hash is different.
Hashish. Shout out in the back too. It's both.
She had it in February 2022. We're not talking like 10 years ago. We're not talking back in the day.
They've had her since then. Yeah. It's wild.
What I'm saying is, the weed is, when you think about hash, weed would be considered more serious.
It's
than
more
hash.
illegal. Yeah. It's
so
illegal in Russia.
When I think
you.
about that, I think it's a flex for them to see, like, hey, Americans, I have your person, and you don't even care about your person. And it's like, you know, we do have a lot going on, but at the same time, if it were somebody that you deemed important, you would have done things differently. And it's not somebody that you deem important, so it took a lot of outrage and petition signing and action in order to get you to say something. And that's the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Because I think this would have been resolved a long time ago. Or it would have been in mainstream news. Because people are just now hearing about it with the sentence, and everybody doesn't know that Brittney Griner is in prison in Russia. Everybody doesn't know that. There's people just finding out. When she first went, we're up with the news, so we know that she went. We're looking at the news. We're looking at these kinds of things. But the general public did not know these things.
They're not paying attention.
It wasn't on.
It wasn't mainstream.
Yeah.
It wasn't on.
It wasn't common knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah. But had it been a male athlete in the NBA, any male athlete in the NBA, this news would have been spread quickly.
Is that your final?
That's my final thought. I think Russia's flexing. The prisoner swap. See, I don't like negotiating with terrorists. Personally,
you want her back or not?
I do, and I think we should do what we need to do in order to get her back. I just wish we didn't have to do that.
Got you. J Poppy.
All right, so this news hit on the social media side, Twitter world, since of January that she was.
Yeah, they've had her almost 7 months.
It's been like 7 months.
Yeah. I thought it's 9 months though.
No, January. She got caught end of January, early February.
Yep.
Oh.
And they've had her incarcerated ever since.
My first reaction was like, damn, how you got caught. I'm sorry for you. I thought they were just going to give her like a slap in the wrist. I did not expect it for it to be this long. And I did not expect the sentence to be this long. I understand.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like, to me, it's a little bit over a bit.
It's overkill.
I understand if you give her for 6 months. I understand maybe up 12 months. You know what I'm saying? Just to give her a lesson. But 9 years, goddamn, that's almost a decade.
9.5.
That's crazy. I do agree with my brother that if it was a big name like LeBron James, everything would have been, we would move heaven and earth just to get him back easily with no hesitation. Right at the airport, something would have been done. It would not even hit the mainstream or social media. It would have been hush hush. I do agree with Brian doing the trade. I don't think that's a great sign of power. You know what I'm saying? It's just making us.
It's not a sign of power. It's a sign of weakness, like you said.
It's just us trying to find any cards in our play, like pulling our ace out of our sleeve, forcing to make certain plays that I believe it shouldn't agree. Do I believe she made a mistake? Yes, she made a mistake. Because if you are traveling to a different country, you should know their laws. Like, you go to the Philippines, you have cocaine on you, at your house, in your car, whatever, they find it, you're dead. That's execution, no matter where you're from. So there are laws in different locations.
Yeah.
But again, is it a little bit like extend a little bit overdoing it? Yeah. That's my thoughts on it, and I'm hoping that we get her back sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely. Bring back Brittney safe in one piece, no body parts missing, none of that. It was very scary to like not know where the fuck she was at and to not see any photos of her for like 2 months.
Right.
Because I've been following this story very closely. I'm an NBA fan. I'm a basketball player. I played basketball in high school. I ran track in college. Like, I'm an athlete, and so when this first happened, I was like, oh, come on. Like, everything is layered. Everything, there's a lot of nuance, and there's just so many things to unpack, right? Like, when this first happened, I'm like, Brittney, you gotta pay attention, boo boo. You know that you're going to Russia every year to be a consultant / player. You know that Russia doesn't fuck with the U.S. You know this. Everybody know. Everybody should know this.
Right.
But especially female basketball players who make 3 times what they make in Russia playing ball and being a consultant versus playing basketball in the States. You
100%.
know better. You know better.
100%.
So like for you, even if she had a lapse in her brain and was like, yo, I'm just going to jump on the plane and I have a little bit of weed and I have this weed oil and I have this hash, blah, blah, blah. You know that Russia has not fucked with us for centuries. You know that the Cold War and every world war, they have always been one of our greatest enemies. Not one of our greatest allies, one of our greatest enemies. You know that current president, Putin, he don't fuck with Sleepy Joe. You know that. He only fucked with the last guy because he got the last guy in.
Right.
They colluded. You know what I'm saying? That's the only president he ever fucked with. He didn't like
Circle
Obama.
jerk buddies.
Yeah, circle jerk buddies. He didn't fuck with Obama. My nigga Obeezy. He didn't fuck with Clinton, Bush, none of them niggas. He only fucked with 45 because he bought 45. He said, if I win you the election, you're my bitch. And 45 was like, I bet. But he don't fuck with Sleepy Joe. You knew all of this, and you still put that bullshit in your bag. So there is a fine line between personal accountability and seeing the sentence that Russian judge dropped yesterday.
That's too much.
That shit is OD. First off, you've already had her for 7 months. We just said it. You've had her since fucking February. She's been gone away from her wife, away from her friends, away from her team, away from her family since nigga. It's about to be September. It's about to be September in like 2 weeks. What the fuck? And now I'm seeing on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News that there might be a prisoner swap for a dude who's trafficked so many different types of weapons. We're not just talking about AKs. This motherfucker is the plug to tanks,
submarines,
fucking all kinds of wild shit.
To cartels and stuff.
WMDs to cartels around the world.
Iron Man's Jericho.
And you want this motherfucker free. You want us to say, here, you take him and then take this other little snitch CIA informant nigga and we'll give you the basketball player woman back. What? Now, in the respect of just having her back on our soil, I am, which
she should be.
I'm not a military guy. I'm not a police guy. I'm not an authority guy. I want her back because I think she learned her fucking lesson. I was all about the personal accountability piece at first. Like, how could you be so dumb as to do that there? You do it anywhere else, you would get a slap on the wrist. You do it in Colombia, you might get away with it. They might at the fuck when they see it. Miss Griner, you can't have weed. It's Colombia. You can't leave with this. Give us 10 grand and you can go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. She sent it. It's not even in the news.
Pay the fine.
But it's fucking Russia. Do y'all understand they started the Cold War? They are one of the catalysts for the first 2 world wars. These motherfuckers, like...
They're ready to fight.
They're the reason why we just printed up more fake money and sent $800 million to the fucking Ukraine this week. You can't do that there. So, Brittney, when you get home, understand, never do that dumb shit again. And now athletes of all kinds in all different genres,
they don't want to fuck with Russia.
They don't want to go there no more. Rightfully so. We should have never been there in the first place.
That was a conspiracy theory with the U.S. men's soccer team. They purposely failed to not go to Russia to play in the World Cup.
Why the fuck would you want to go there? They don't like us.
They don't.
They don't like us.
It's like black people in certain places. And
I
was gonna say the South, but I'm just gonna say sundown towns because they exist everywhere.
We
do.
Yeah, and we don't. We're not.
We're in a certain part of Rhode Island.
Bristol.
Yeah. No, I got you one better. Little Compton, Rhode Island. Be there. How many times will you get stopped?
Little Compton is this big. I just drive around.
You know how many cases there are in Little Compton of racist shit that happens day in and day out?
The KKK is out there.
Yeah.
Like South County.
Proud Confederate flags.
1,000%. 1,000%. And so, like, Brittney, from a personal accountability standpoint, when you get out of here, when they bring you back, because they're gonna bring you back, they're not gonna let you rock. I don't know if they're gonna let the merchant of death out of jail, but they gonna give Russia something they don't want to give them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it is gonna be a terrorist negotiation because they've been the number one terror to us forever. It's them, then China.
Yeah.
Like, those are our rivals. And they're doing better than us economically from a world standpoint, from a global
China
standpoint.
owns about $61 billion in real estate, and just real estate here in the United States,
bro. And it's twice that in Africa. But we ain't gonna talk about that. That's a conversation for another day.
I'm gonna get triggered. Don't do that.
Yeah. We're not. That's a conversation for another day. But yo, free Brittney. You know what I'm saying?
Free Brittney.
Free Brittney.
What
Bring
that's
her
some
home.
Bullshit.
No,
9.5 years over some weed and weed oil, my nigga.
Over some little bit of weed.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of weed.
I understand your point about accountability. The first way you delivered it, I didn't agree with it. And your delivery.
What, last week?
No, the first time we brought this topic to the podcast.
What was that, 2 weeks ago?
That was more than 2
No,
weeks
no,
ago.
no, that's before
we
me.
brought it when it first, before he even came
Oh,
out.
yeah. But I have more information.
And now that you have more information, but I think this should be a lesson to all athletes, people who are famous, whatever. You are not untouchable.
That part.
No one is.
Especially in Russia.
No. I'm talking about wherever you go.
Yeah, but
because
especially
you
in
could
Russia, though.
you could run into anybody who doesn't know who you are or doesn't value who you are, and then all the stuff that you've been doing, like do right by yourself, so you don't have to worry about anybody taking away from you something that you value, such as your freedom.
No, that's a fact. Yeah, man. So free Brittney, yo.
What's going on, my people? This is Wole from the Pregame Podcast. We appreciate your support. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, and wherever you listen to podcasts. We love y'all. And until next time, peace.